Is it working? What's up, bro?
Where are you?
I'm in my actual office. In my office.
Your office?
Yeah, in the office, not the home office, but not the.
Is that where you usually are? Is the home office whenever we talk?
No, I'm usually in the podcast studio of this office. I've just been slowly integrating back to my regular office rather than sitting in the podcast studio because it's so hot in there. So,
why don't you just put AC in there, my man?
Well, I'm gonna.
You see, when you live in Florida, folks,
ACs. So.
Everybody's got central AC everywhere. Like the number one fear of Floridians is not having AC. It's not terrorists. It's not hurricanes. It is loss of AC. That is the number one fear. Seriously, it's the number one fear for census in the state of Florida. That's crazy.
Got my AC blowing right now. Get all set up. So yeah, bro, let's party. I don't know what you thought we should cover today, but I was thinking we kind of dig into like AEP prep.
Yeah. We talked about it yesterday for quite a bit, so might as well.
But yeah, I think we want to stay focused as much as possible and not go off on too many tangents if we can. Just stay right in the pocket.
Do our best.
So I guess what do you think would be like the number one thing that you've learned over the years that if you do this, it amplifies the productivity and efficiency of your AEP? Is there one thing that you can think of?
I think setting a hard target, having a physical number target of wanting to hit, right? Like you said when we were talking yesterday, you had made the comment, which I love. You can't hit a target you don't aim for, right? So it's like you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall hoping it works. I just want to sell a ton of plans. Okay, well, that's not going to get you to sell a ton of plans. When you're specific saying, hey, I want to sell 200 plans, then you can start to do 7 levels of why. Why do you want to sell 200 plans? Well, because of X, Y, and Z. Well, why do you want that? Well, why do you want that? Well, why do you want that? Then we find purpose. So within a targeted goal that's very specific, all you need is 3 or 4 levels of asking yourself why from a target. Listen, my goal is 200. 4 levels of why you need 200 is going to get you to probably to a pretty good and compelling purpose. If you get to 7 levels of why, everybody, means you just ask yourself why 7 times. And the more you ask yourself why, the tougher and tougher the questions get, because you really have to dig internally and figure out emotionally why you're attached to the goal. But when you can attach a number to an emotion, you have purpose for what you're trying to create, a purpose for the result. It's easier to map it out. It's much easier to map it out because now you have really feeling. You got skin in the game. When you have a targeted number, and I think you agree with me here, Josh, when you have a targeted number and you start to go through the process, a lot of people say, well, you need mindset going into AEP. Yeah, but if you have a targeted number, it will shift your mindset into a mode where it's like, hey, this is what I need to do. I reverse engineered this by saying, okay, if I need 200 plans, how many plans do I need per day? If I need that many plans per day, what kind of people do I want to sell to, right? Do I need DSMPs? Do I need PPOs? Do I want MedSup? Do I want HMO? Do I want low income, high income? What am I going after, right? Do I want the potential of a cross-sell for an annuity? Do I want a potential cross-sell for, any kind of cross-sell? So it's like once you figure out those, you start reverse engineering from the number, from the purpose, and then you reverse engineer it, and you'll find yourself coming up with a pretty loose plan. But you need a loose plan first before you can start filling in the details of how you're actually going to get it done. So I really think that knowing the result that you want, number one, what's the result that you want? And then why you actually want the result. And then building a map, a massive action plan to get that result. And I think you'll like this, Josh. When I say massive action plan, I mean, what are the things that you can do in the next 10 minutes to move the needle? Not the next things you can do next 30 days. You don't have 30 days in AEP. You got 10 freaking minutes. 10 minutes. What in the next 10 minutes can you do to move that along? And it could be easy. I'm gonna set up an email to send to all my clients. You could do that in 10 minutes. You could, or at least you could start in 10 minutes, right? So what could you start in 10 minutes that will move the needle? That's your massive action plan to get to the result. And you just keep, as soon as you have a click, 3 things done, boom, now move on to the next massive action plan. Next one, the next one, the next one. And it creates that momentum that everybody needs in AEP. A lot of people, I think you know this too, Josh, they worry about it October 15th. Like, October 15th is going to hit and it's going to be busy. And it's going to do how is it going to be busy? And they said, oh, the insurance companies suck. They don't support us. They don't give us leads. They don't help us. They didn't give me marketing dollars and stuff like this. And it's like, wow, man, like You brag about being an entrepreneur. You brag about being a business owner. You brag about being independent. Yet the ones that say, which I never say independent, by the way, the ones that say independent are usually the most dependent. They are. And they like to remind you, hey, I'm independent, aren't I? You sure are. But
yeah, I mean, independent's a vague term.
it is. And it's typically, if you're going to say you're independent, well, then you don't need help because you're independent.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it yesterday, what when I asked the question to the team, what's your AEP goal? What's the first agent say? They said what the average agent says when I asked that.
As much as I can get.
Many as possible, which is this vague hypothetical. And what that opens the door for is mediocrity.
Yeah, 20 sales.
Because you aren't setting the standard. You aren't doing anything to create a way to measure your progress. Yeah. Like with a map, as an example, you said if I put your address into Google Maps and I said start, it would then start tracking my progress from the point A to point B, but I would have to make progress along the way to move the needle, right?
Correct.
But I'd have to know what the destination is. Otherwise, theoretically, I could drive just as many miles as it would take me to drive to you, but I could drive in a circle through my neighborhood instead for weeks, right? And I could travel the same distance
and ride a bike on it. You know?
Traveling the same distance, but getting nowhere, which is that's a good analogy for what a lot of people end up doing. And not just insurance agents, but people in general. Yes. Not having a target is the number one mistake. It's again, you can call it a target, a goal, a dream. There's a million different acronyms that we could label that moniker, but it really is. To me, the visualization. I love visuals, being able to visualize what I'm doing. And the target thing, I can visualize it. I have a dartboard. I played darts. I'm trying to hit the bullseye. And that's the visualization is what is the target? And then from there, what's acceptable? And I every time I've set a target that's crazy, I've never hit the target, but I've definitely exponentially hit farther than I ever thought was possible.
You were close last year, though.
Well,
your target was 8.
Yeah, 8. I did 650.
That's close.
I could have done 8 if I didn't take 14 days off. But again, I'm trying to create that balance in that bind. And this year I have the same challenge. Mm-hmm. In essence, well, it's the opposite goal. Normally I'm trying to, I did 4 last year. I did 450 last year. I want to do 5, or I want to do 550. And then it went to 6. It went to 650. It went to 7. It went to 8. And instead of doing that, now my goal is opposite, because I'm trying to transition a little bit in my leadership growth and what I'm trying to really do here, which is transition to helping as many people like you and others amplify and benefit from what I've learned. And so I'm trying to do less apps this year. And my goal is to do less than 400. So cut 250 apps off of my plate, putting it onto, because if I can take 250 off my plate, but put 250 on Filip's and 250 on Albert's and 250 on Lori's and 250
on 250 on Aaron's, dude. Like, come on.
Well, that's a given.
Bring it home, baby.
He's going to get 250 also. And that's really the goal is I, as one person, can maybe hit the top 1% of the top 1% as an individual. But if you take the top 1%, the top 1% individual number, and then take it to the next bigger pond with bigger fish, which is now you're comparing yourself against agency production. And then your 500 or your 1,000 apps, if you max out, or let's say 2,000 because you're a psychopath human, and you do 2,000 apps in an AEP, you're still like 0.0005% of the production of a large agency.
You got some Midwestern joker who's got 15 LOAs in a call center. They're pumping out 5,000 apps a month. It makes you look like, what the fuck am I doing?
It's way more than that.
Dude, the average these guys have to do is like 1,000 apps a year to even keep their job. So it's like, when you think about this place got 100 agents, they're doing 50,000 apps. Like our buddy Sal Quadri, like he knows this. He's selling leads to warm transfers to people 10,000 a day. Like, it's nuts. Like 10,000 warm transfers a day. I mean, that Josh that we do business with. There's 10,000 warm transfers a day for call centers.
For one,
crazy, dude.
For one person,
from one lead vendor. It's unbelievable. So I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, I love that standpoint that you're taking too. What an evolution, right? To be like, and I'm almost there. I'm almost at that evolution where I'm like completely gonna reverse engineer it. Be like, the thing was, you know what's funny about that? I was there, and then I'm gonna self admit this, right? Because most people won't admit where they fail. Right? In life, we success, we fail. We succeed, we fail. We succeed, we fail. But we only fail after success if we keep moving, if we keep trying to get better. You will fail again, right? The point is, you don't want to go behind where you started, right? As long as you're kind of doing like this and you're getting up and up and up. But I took basically 2 years off of the game. I took my eye off the ball for 2 years and focused on trying to Tony Robbins everybody, right? When I first started the brokerage, I had a ton of brokers. I hired everybody and anybody, just volume, 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 volume. And I said, I don't care what their mindset is. I don't care what their habits are. I can fix anybody. I can flip the numbers. Instead of being 80-20 against me, I'm gonna put 80-20 in my favor. 80% of my brokers are gonna be top performers, and the 20% I'm gonna get rid of, right? Well, I did that for 2 years. And when I did that for 2 years, I sacrificed my book. I sacrificed production. I sacrificed money for brokers that, guess what? I ended up getting rid of anyways.
Yeah.
There's no ROI on that. So I was like, oh shit, man, maybe
there is an ROI on that. It's called the lesson learned the hardest way possible, which means you actually learn it.
Right.
And
so the experience was the ROI on it for sure. But for dollar amount, it wasn't there. So investment wise, you learn from that, right?
Well, but you can also look at it as glass half full, and downstream now, because these lessons you've earned, you've unlocked the potential for the bigger, better growth and expansion. And maybe you weren't ready then, and that's why you failed.
God's
and
plan,
having to regroup. And so, yeah, I mean, I want to encourage agents to, whether this is your first, this is your first AEP, I can give you exactly what I would do. I would get my certifications done as fast as possible. I would live at whoever the heck recruited you into this business, hired you into this business. You need to live in their space.
Yeah.
In essence, absorbing everything you can, and without crossing the line into annoying, being the persistent presence that's looking for opportunity, showing up for training, showing up for and that thirst for growth and development in the beginning. It's no different than if you're a rookie NBA player and staying after practice for 4 hours to practice your shot or practice your move, or it's this dialed in effect that you want to be around, so that when the opportunities arise, you're the person who takes it and it's given to. Same thing with the carrier reps. If I was a new agent, I would also encourage you, don't do the virtual AEP rollout sessions that either your upline or the carriers do. Go to all the in-person ones, register for them, show up, and network with the people, but almost as important, if not more important, network with the carrier reps and set up lunches. Like for me, bro, I get tipped like Humana. I mean, I've already got intel that usually they only share on the FMO level. And honestly, this year, there's been several times where I've been told stuff directly by my Humana rep that my upline didn't even know yet. That hasn't disseminated down fast and far enough. And so those relationships are like Nushin. That's another prime example. How small of a world is this? Shout out to Nushin.
Nushin's great.
Nushin's one of my favorites. She was in Colorado, agent manager at Aetna for a long, long time. Had a wonderful relationship with her where it was mutually beneficial. I bring business to Aetna for where it fits. At the other side of it is opportunities that come along. Our agency was given many, many opportunities for co-op and marketing dollars and opportunities. And we uncovered this opportunity with this doctor's office. We want to plug you and your agents in. That tangible physical relationship, spending time face-to-face, showing up to stuff, winning trophies, like being a top producer helps, ain't gonna lie. When you're on the top of the producer list, you're gonna get more attention. But that's how you get there. Is to become known, become a known source, because someone like Nushin, someone like Brandy, shout out to Brandy, who's now with IFG as an agent manager, who used to be my Humana rep. There's a list that goes on and on and on for people that have directly been a source of me having activity back in the beginning days of me building my agency, when I didn't have any money, I didn't have any credit, I didn't have any gas money. All I had was eager desire to say yes to everything. And so I just put out all the points bulletin. Be on the BOLO. I did a BOLO. Be on the lookout for opportunity for Joshua Young's, because I don't give a crap if it's standing in a cold parking lot 6 days a week, or standing at a Walmart, or I tried everything, you guys. And I learned what I liked and what I didn't like, to learn what did work and what didn't work. And reality was, there was a correlation between the stuff that I liked and what worked and what I didn't like and didn't work, because the stuff I didn't like, I didn't put the effort, energy, and time into like I should have. The stuff I enjoyed doing, I did because I liked it. Right. So that's the thing. But it's kind of like food. And again, if you never had a kid, you don't understand what I'm saying. But both my kids have very distinct taste buds, but we still try to go through the process of you can't say you don't like it if you haven't tried it. And so go through and do a call blitz with United Healthcare. Go through and sign up to get leads. Sign up for something like Medicare HubSpot. Sign up for the local Chamber of Commerce. Plug into a local BNI group or create your own. Go through and create a network of people, because the same problem we all have as agents is universal, which is if you don't have enough business, it's the only problem you have is not enough people know who you are and what you do and why they should talk to you.
Yeah.
Not enough people know. And that's where the campaign goes, right?
And those habits, they don't die, because like rolling back to Nushin, big shout out to Nushin, is we had a great broker manager here for years for me. I've always had a great relationship with broker managers. I'm a big fan of that, right? Great relationship with a broker manager here, Jamie Lippert. Amazing. Jamie ended up retiring or resigning, for whatever reason. She resigned, and there was like this gap, and I'm like, okay, well, now I don't know who's coming in, and it's almost AEP, and like, holy smokes. So here comes Nushin. And I get an email from her, and I'm like, yeah, let's have a meeting, right? I would love to have a meeting with you. And that entire meeting I spent finding out what I could do for her to make her coming into this area. She's not from here.
Yeah.
Coming into this area, she's from Colorado, like Josh said, coming in this area. What can I do to make her job easier? Where does she want to grow? And she's got a slam dunk area called Pinellas County, right? Where I was like, I don't even want Pinellas. I got more clients than I need in Pinellas. It's 2 counties away from me. It's a long drive. So when I do like member seminars, I got to drive all the way to Pinellas and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want Pinellas. Where do you want to grow? It can't be Pinellas, because Pinellas, you're saturated. You got plenty of brokers there. Let them bother you. Where do you really want to grow? I want you to grow. And she's like, well, I really want to grow in Citrus Hernando. And I'm like, well, that's even further than Pinellas. But you know what I said?
Let's do
Absolutely. Let's do it. And within 24 hours, I had everything booked, everything tracked, everything done, everything sorted out. And she was like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah, I moved quick. And guess what? I got a newborn. I got a 4.5-year-old. I got a wife that's bedridden right now. I got job and responsibilities. I got brokers I got to take care of, right? And I still got it done. Because I have a team. I use AI. I got a team. They know how to work expeditiously. They're in tune with my vision and goals, so they know how important it is to me. Therefore, it's important to them. That's culture, right? So I think those habits, they never die, right? I do the same with all my broker managers. I reach out and say, how can I help you? Like you know how you can help me? Give me the opportunities where you want me to work. I don't care what the opportunity is. Just give me an opportunity, because opportunity breeds opportunity, okay? I'm a great relationship with a broker manager who, and I'm not going to say who he is, because, sometimes people get real pissed off.
Yeah, no, I know.
Great broker manager, worked at Aetna. I absolutely killed it for him 4 or 5 years, right? And he would call me and be like, hey man, I have an agent that bailed on a marketing event. It's 2 hours away. Can you cover it? Yep. I won't even think. Yep. For 4 or 5 years, I did that. This guy has now moved to different companies. He went to Cigna, and when he went to Cigna, guess who was first person to call to give seminars to? I didn't even sell Cigna. I wasn't even certified or contracted with Cigna. Yeah. And he gave me 32 seminars paid for by Cigna. Okay. Then he left Cigna, went to another insurance company. Who do you think the first person he called was? It was me. And to this day, I still have that kind of relationship with him where he's like, hey, I got this opportunity I want to plug you into. Hey, I met this doctor's office I want to plug you into. And the guy's not even a broker manager anymore. He's higher up. So now that influence is disseminating down, where people that are broker managers are like, hey, that guy is good. Work with him, right? That's a good thing. Same thing with Nushin, because it's not just Nushin could reach out to Josh, and Josh would be like, dude, Filip is solid, right? Yeah. But she could also read out, big shout out to Jeff Carlini. Jeff Carlini runs a state in Florida, right? And Jeff would say, absolutely, Filip's a killer. He'd been in the top 10 for Aetna for 10 out of the last, 11 years he's been selling it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you build that reputation and people know that about you, that number one, you're willing to take opportunity, right? You're not a pushover. You're willing to take opportunity. Number two, you're accountable for your results. Accountable for your results, good or bad. It didn't work out. The last thing you want to do is like, well, your mailer sucked. You picked the wrong venue. you had me selling the wrong plan or some shit like that. Like, dude, that's not the carrier's job to figure out. That's your job to figure out. They gave you the opportunity. You got to make chicken salad out of chicken shit sometimes.
Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, you get the closing percentage is never ever the opportunity. It's always the agent doing the closing.
Yes. 100%.
The need is there. The opportunity is there. If there's somebody that comes to your seminar or they don't show up, it's not the marketing piece's fault. It's not the venue's fault. It's not anything else's fault. Sometimes it's just luck of the draw. Sometimes it's kind of like fishing. Well, that spot over there looks like it should have fish in it, but there's not.
Yeah.
This over here looks like it should be productive, but it's not. It's just reality and perception are oftentimes misaligned, and but it's the swing. It's taking the swing, because not only do you have an opportunity to succeed, but you also have an opportunity to learn, to grow, because what you'll start to do is learn how to do things the wrong way. Because what I'll tell you is, I didn't learn how to do informal sales event at a food bank by watching a video or listening to my upline or anything else. You know how I learned? I learned by sitting there and having nothing happen for enough days in a row where I had a point of pain where I was like, I'm not going to sit here and waste time anymore.
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to get people to engage with me.
Yeah.
So against my personality, like I gotta have some kind of thing. And so I first thing I did was I got a candy bowl. And now I had just a conversation. It turned into a conversation piece. And over time it developed and it changed into other things. And then I created relationships with the staff, and that grew and changed, and over time. And in reality, in a lot of ways, I'm the same way you. I haven't maintained for any definitive purpose the relationships, and especially in the last couple of years as I've gone through this hokey pokey where my right foot's in, my right foot's out, trying to get in and out of the field, trying to figure out how do I make this transition from top of the food chain producer with a half-assed effort at running and building and supporting a team, or switching to a top of the food chain support builder, process creator, a team developer, and getting rid of, not completely, but making it a second or third or fourth fiddle in my life of being a personal producer. I don't want to stop doing it because I feel like it gives me an edge on creating workflows and ads and trainings and other stuff, because I'm in the field live doing stuff. I see what's going on, and it's a transition. And in life, in business, and all the stuff, you're going to go through seasons. There is no such thing as constant. The only, as they say, only constant is change. And this AP is another prime example of that. You're going to have right foot in, right foot out. But we've seen a lot of disruption, a lot of moving parts, a lot of chaos, and we have double disruption this year. We have, in essence, AI moving right to the forefront very quickly. We have legislation changing. Technically, the rules have gotten easier for an agent in the field this year. Yeah. If you're an agent in the field this year, as soon as October hits, not having to get the scope until time of the appointment, not having to do the disclaimer until any time before you start going into benefits, you can create a flow, and you can create because what that had done is
like how it used to be.
Right, back to
how it used to be.
We go back
to
Obama. And you're able to build a relationship first before going into which allows you an opportunity to close a much higher percentage, because it's relationship based. Is going to be even more of a commodity moving forward as AI cycles through. More and more people, especially in this older population, they're going to gravitate towards human. They're going to gravitate towards relationship. They're going to gravitate towards the old days. And the more you can kind of create an environment of both, leveraging AI and all that, but really in ways that enhance what you're doing rather than replace what you're doing. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I see agents do when it comes to the AI thing, especially in AEP, is that it's not about replace. It's about enhance. It's about empower. It's about amplify. It's about optimization. It's about finding that niche. And so again, I think let's go through like 3 categories.
Yeah, and can we niche this avatar down to, let's say, first AEP? Let's niche it down to the agent it's their first AEP, maybe their second AEP. not third,
Breeze.
right? Not seasoned. Third ADP, you're kind of getting a little bit more seasoned. You might have some, no offense to anybody, you may have some bad habits, and me and Josh are not interested in arguing with you over your fucking bad habits, right? Like, not interested. So really, let's usually we're speaking to vets on this, and we're trying to give like high level, expert level stuff. Let's back it down. Let's talk about the guys that are just starting, right? Let's talk about those guys. Like, okay, so if we work on our goals, we got our goals locked in, right? We got our goals locked in. We know we want the goals. We know we want to take care of our family or retire our wife or, buy a new car or get a new house or whatever to take that vacation we've never had before. And the reason we want to do this is because our parents never did it for us. And I never went to Disney as a kid, and I want to take my kids to Disney, and I never got to go, scuba diving or whatever the fuck, right? Like whatever that goal is, whatever it is. And then you build this action plan. What's that action plan look like? 30 days, no longer than 60 days. But let's talk about specific realistic activities, Josh, that we could create in 30 to 60, 90 days, because we're about 60 to 90 days out, right? What would some of those things be? Like, if I was a brand new agent, what would be the low-hanging fruit that I would initially categorize and ask broker managers for as an opportunity? Like, what would that look like?
Well, I mean,
I said we start there.
What would the low-lying fruit of what I would ask a broker manager for? First, I would start with swag.
Yeah.
Is there any leftover swag? Anything in a box? Anything I could put together? Because I've found having any kind of olive branch of any kind when trying to create a relationship softens the blow, even if it's some cheesy handout. The effort and the thought process behind. So I would ask for swag. I would just flat out ask for leads. It's, I know you, but you gotta ask for it correctly. You gotta soften the blow by saying, look, I know I'm probably the 500th person to ask you and beg. I just want one opportunity. And so my tip is don't ask for leads. Ask for one lead to prove yourself with.
Yeah. Or opportunity, right?
Yeah, lead or opportunity. I would start with a lead, and then also transition to opportunities. I want to put my hat in the ring. If you ever have somebody who doesn't show up for a sales event because they're sick or the weather or whatever, and you need a pinch hitter, you need a substitute, you need any kind of anything at all, like count on me as the gap filler for you. I am hungry. This is my goal. And again, the story, it's facts tell, stories sell. Again, this is no different than asking for a client referral. I was going to get to that. I was going to say, well, what would you do? Have them buy into the mission or have them feel sorry for you? Well, there's the two categories that I've trained on. You either get them to feel sorry for you, which again, that works. However, it only works on half of personalities. There's two personality types that you try to get them to feel sorry for you, and they don't. They think you're pathetic, and they go, get out of here, you wussy. And so you can do that, but so if you understand the personality type you're dealing with, you can use it on someone that's compassionate for others.
Yes.
So feeling sorry might motivate them. However, everybody, all four personality types, can absolutely get behind a good
mission,
underdog story, mission.
Could we also say mission could be purpose?
Well, mission.
So if we know our purpose, could we sell our purpose to the broker manager and make them say, wow, I can get behind that?
Yes. Right. And so
the first part, we know we got to create purpose, we got to create results, we got to create all that stuff. And then what you're saying is that maybe we tell them that story and have them buy into our mission, but we could also make them feel a little sorry for us because we're brand new and this and that, right?
You do both. You make them feel sorry for you first, and you transition to the get behind you mission, which just in case they don't feel sorry for you, you still have the get behind you mission. But if both hit, now you have an amplification effect that you now put in front of them a reason to give it to you. And the reason it's effective on someone like a carrier rep is it's a mutually beneficial, it's a symbiotic relationship. What I mean by that is their income, their base salary is not enough to live on. So they rely on, there's a reason why the people that know Filip keep going back to Filip, because they know when they invest time, money, energy, and effort into supporting what Filip's doing or giving Filip opportunity, they have a return on that investment where Filip now writes more applications. And as a result, their income goes up because of how their bonus structures are typically set up on growth and other things. And so that's why Filip had a genius move of saying, well, I don't want to go where everybody else is. I want to go where you want to grow.
Yeah.
And that's a totally different thing, because then for them, now that's a whole, it's kind of like having an agent come up and say, well, I don't want to just be an agent. I want to build a team with you.
Yeah.
And now we're having amplification, exponential growth opportunity. And that's really the angle you should take, is just get in, get known, make sure they know your story, your background, why you're doing this. You should have a why you're doing this business. And if it's just to make money, then you're not going to get leads. That's not passion. That's not purpose.
And I love that. I love that, because again, if the result is to make 100K, why do you want 100K?
Yeah,
that's what people are going to buy in, is the why. Why do you want it? 7 levels of why. That's what they care about. That's what they care about.
And even if it's something stupid as no one in my family has ever made 100 grand before, or I want to go on a cruise, or I want to buy my kids this, or I want, that's the story that they can get behind.
Yeah.
Is that the why behind the goal. So again, we're reverse engineering. We said first you have to shoot the target, find the target, then you reverse engineer. Okay, I want to do, and really it starts with monetary. Okay, so you pick 100. We'll use 100,000. That's what Filip threw out. I want to make 100,000 this AEP. Okay, now I got to reverse engineer. How many apps is that? Roughly 300. We'll call it 300, because you're going to cross sell like you're supposed to.
Yeah. So 300.
Okay, so 300 should get you 100K of revenue. Now, how do I get to 300? Well, 300 divided, how many days? So now we have the number. Now we got to figure out what's the variable we're dividing by. And so am I going to work 7 days a week, all AEP, and not take Thanksgiving off? Well, then I have 53 days that I can get those 300 in.
Yeah.
If I'm going to take a couple days off, or I'm going to take Saturdays off, or Sundays off, or I have a vacation, or I have this, or I have that, we got to just get to how many actionable full working days do I have to operate with, and then you just do the math. Divide the number of apps by the number of days, and now you have your performance. You got to break it down into an actual bite-sized chunk. You can't eat the whole sandwich in one bite. You got to
Kaizen, brother. One bite at a time.
Some people start in the corner, some people start in the middle, some people start weirdo, and like my son, he'll just take his sandwich apart and eat it in pieces, so he doesn't eat the whole thing. It's like layers that he eats at one at a time, right? But again, it's breaking that goal down into an actionable steps, so that you get down to, what am I going to do today? And then Filip, what am I going to do in the next 10 minutes? Yeah. It's those micro decisions that once now I have a goal in mind, it's just like, if I want to walk to Florida or drive to Florida, guess what direction I have to drive? Well, south and east. And so I can start by going east, or I can start by going south, but at some point I'm going to have to go south and east. And so it starts with those journeys and taking those steps. Same thing. I know I need to do 4 apps a day. If I'm going to do 300 and I'm only going to work, let's say I'm going to work 40 days in AEP. I'm going to take 13 days off somehow, some way. Well, now I got 40 operational days into 300. How many times was 4 go into 3? 30, 7, and then whatever. So now I need roughly 7 apps a day for my working days to hit that goal, which means it's really hard to do.
Right.
If no one's ever tried to do
what you're closing, the thing what people don't remember is they think, well, that's how many closes I need, so then I just need to see that many people. No. What's your closing rate? If your closing rate's 50%, you got to double the number, right? So if you want to sell 300, you got to meet 600. That's what people forget. They're like, I just need 300 people. No, you don't. You need 1,000 people. You need to get in front of 1,000 people will increase your odds of hitting that number. So it is the amount of people you get in front of as well. That's why opportunity matters more than anything, right? And something I wanted to add on before we get too far down the line is that conversation that you have with the broker manager. I love what you said too, Josh, and I love that whole idea of the feel sorry for you and the mission, and adding those two things together to have a really compelling story for the person to buy into. Beyond that, I love a guy named Dan Martell. I love Dan Martell. He's a mentor. He's amazing. I mean, I wish he was a physical mentor, but he's like a virtual mentor, right? He's a real person. I love his books. I love his podcast. I love everything Dan Martell's doing. If you don't know who Dan Martell is, follow Dan Martell. Amazing. Dan Martell has a rule in his company, okay? And it's called a 1-3-1 rule, okay? And that means anytime that you approach somebody and you have a problem, before you approach that person, okay, recognize the problem, come up with 3 solutions, regardless if they're good or bad. Just come up with 3 solutions, put in the fucking effort, and narrow it down to one solution that you think will work best. When you approach a broker manager and say, hey, listen, I'm new in the business, blah, blah, blah. Here's my story. Here's my purpose. I know I'm new in the business, so it's tougher for me to get that traction, that thing. What I'm looking for is potentially do maybe a retail If you have a retail store that maybe I could man or something of that nature, or if you have like maybe some food pantries or doctor's offices that I could like kind of stand in front of there, or maybe if you can attach me to another broker that's doing like seminars, and if he can't make it, I could be that backup. Now I'm thinking maybe the easiest way to implement me that's lowest friction is just get me into a retail store where I can have a lot of experience right there. That's what I was carrying down. What do you think? That broker manager is going to be like, holy shit, this guy ain't coming out to me with a handout. He's coming to me with a strategy, a plan, a solution to his problem. Did you catch all that?
Yeah.
Or did it black out on?
No, it just went dim. It looked like you went in the dark. That's all. That was good.
It did for a second. But to me, like to me, that's a dream when someone's like, hey man, Filip, I ran into this problem, but these are the 3 things I thought about to fix it. And this is the one I think will work best. What do you think? And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Yes, all 3 of those are terrible, but let me tell you what will work. But then you're excited, you're bought in, you're juiced. You're like, this dude's working with me. Now we're partners. Now that independent consultant broker, now you really are an independent consultant. It doesn't matter your experience. Take on the mindset of the person you want to be. And anybody that's pragmatic in life, and I learned this from Dan Martell, and I thought, that is fucking brilliant, dude. I'm going to notice my problem. 3 solutions, I narrowed down. 1, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1. Easy to remember. And for me, I'm like, fuck, dude. Like now that's culture for me. For any broker that comes on to ProCare, it's like, hey, brother, I want to help you with everything. But we have a certain form and function of this. If you bring me a problem, I need 3 solutions and 1 narrowed down. That's it. Otherwise, don't come to me with the problem. Call a broker manager or call a 1-800 number, call someone else, because I can't help you if you can't help yourself. And you don't have to have the solution. You don't even have to have the right answer, but you have to have the effort. Because I can't give you effort, but I can give you solutions, but I can't give you efforts. And the worst thing, Josh, and I know you've been through this many a times, is when someone tells you a problem and you say, well, what about this? And they go, I already tried that. Okay, well, what about this? I already did that. Well, what about this? I didn't do that, but that's not for me. Well, what about this? Well, I didn't do that. Well, what the fuck are you doing here? What are we doing here? Like, are we wasting my time? Please go back to can you do me a favor? Can you go back to the drawing board and tell me what you're willing to do to solve this problem? Because obviously all my solutions you're shooting down because you tried everything before, and all these other things that make people successful, they're not working for you, but why? You see what I'm saying, guys? And this is literally what my brain and your brain works like this, Josh, when people are talking to us like that. But if they say, here's my problem, here's some solutions, this is where I narrowed it down to, you're like, wow. Okay, now we're here, we're even, we're thinking together. Guys, you do that with your upline. Guys, you do that with your broker managers. You do that with your doctor partners. You do it with your doctor reps. You do it with everybody that you come in contact with for referrals, for anything like that, right? Referral partners if you're BNIs or Chamber of Commerce.
Clients too. Everybody. Everybody.
A 131, guys, make your life a lot easier. Plus your reputation, your, dare I say it, your personal brand is going to go through the roof, right? It just will. More people are going to want to talk to you. More people are going to want to spend time with you. More people are going to want to do business with you. It's just the way it is. Listen, I'm not the best, but I'm very likable and I'm very accountable and I don't bullshit people. You know what I'm saying? And I work my fucking ass off, dude. And it's known. So it's like the people that talk bad about me, do you know what they just say? And excuse my language. All they say is this: fuck Filip. I don't like that guy. Why don't you like him? Oh, because he's an asshole. Why is he an asshole? Why? They can't answer. You say, I just don't like him. He's an asshole. Okay. That's okay. This asshole, oh, by the way, I got nominated for an award that I thought was a scam. Did I tell you about this?
No.
I got an email. I thought it was a phishing scam. And they're like, you've been nominated for top impact broker of the year. And I was like, what? From Elevance. And I was like, this is fake. This is whatever. So I ignored it. I'm getting blown up by Elevance. Blowing me up. Like, hey, man, are you coming to this event? And I said, what event? They're like, you've been nominated for an award. You're the top impact broker of the year. I said, is that real? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. So I'm going to this event tomorrow, right? And I was like, fuck, even if I don't win, it's great content, right? Because I can post that up. And when my clients look at me and they say, let me Google Filip, they can see I was nominated for top impact in the community. They can see I have TV shows and all this stuff. You just Google me, Google Filip Lundstedt. You'll see my resume, dude. I ain't lying. You just look at my resume. Look at my followers. Look at the people that follow me. Look at my reviews. Look at all the YouTube. Look at all the podcasts. Look at all the stage time. And for years and years and years, it's not like I just started yesterday, right? That compounding stuff, it builds your brand. And when you're able to take that brand over years, you're able to use that to increase your influence, right? But I never would have got there if I didn't start with that first point, which is, let me get the broker managers on my side. Let me get the doctors on my side. Let me get them bought into my mission so they actually care if I succeed, because I care if they succeed. So it's got to be both ways. Does that make sense, guys? That 131 is a key way of getting in there. What Josh is talking about, selling the story, that is by far the number one thing you need to work on. That is your story. How are you selling yourself? Not to clients, but the people that can get you in front of clients. Because listen, we believe that you can learn how to sell clients. Getting opportunities from broker managers and insurance companies is a different game, a much different game. Sometimes it's very slow burn, because you got to put in the work and you got to do the things that you don't want to do, right? And it's unfortunate, but that's any job, isn't it? Like, even if I'm training to become a basketball player, I don't know how to play basketball. I'm using this analogy because you play, or even golf, because you know both basketball and golf. Are you going to start me with 3-pointers off rip? You're probably not. You'll probably start with some kind of fundamental of dribbling the ball, or dribbling the ball and walking with the ball, so you're not traveling or double dribbling or whatever the rules are. I don't know how it works, but you're going to teach fundamentals first. You're not going to first be like, hey, listen, the 2 things we're going to work on today are slam dunks, 3-pointers, and layups. That's all we're going to do. You're like, what the fuck? I can't even shoot from the free throw line, and I'm doing all this other shit. Or golf, right? Yeah. Maybe you start on the 9-hole par 3 course, right? Instead of a PGA TPC golf course like you convinced me to do, which I ended up shooting the best game of my life, by the way. You want to know why? I had a good coach. And a honey stick. Honey stick dogs. Yeah. Never forget about the honey stick. Goodness gracious. We can do a whole podcast on the honey stick. Actually, they should be a sponsor. They should be the sponsor. If you want to have sticky business, you got to go off with a honey stick. Like all things. You know what I mean? We could do that. We could totally make a commercial like, when you're on the course and you're trying to impress somebody and you just suck, you're going to slice. Don't be a slice in life. Get the honey. Make your clients stay. Make it something like that. I just made that up. It was good like that. But anyways, you have to start somewhere, and building that foundation is so important. You can't skip it, right? You can't be like, I want to be like Josh and Filip. I'm just going to make content. Who's going to watch it? Who gives a shit? Nobody. But you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And after 5 years, 6 years, you get to our point, right?
Yeah, I think there's 2 reasons to make content, at least. For me, it's not about becoming known. It's about having an impact. Like I say, I don't care if it's, as long as there's 1 viewer, and even if it's my own wife, I don't care. If I have an opportunity to grow, help others grow, have an impact, a positive impact, if I can help somebody cross a barrier that I've crossed already, figure out something I ever had to figure out, anything at all, any kind of give back I can give to others, that, because along the way that I've, in my career, man, I've had so many people, including people like Nushin and other carrier reps and FMO partners and uplines and other brokers I've met, just whether it's at a conference or at a training or at walking down the street. There's a million different ways to pay it forward, and that's really what we're all doing. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a coach, whether you're a mentor, whatever you're doing, it's about passing knowledge and information on to the next person. 100%. And that's what we're trying to do here at the Iron Apex. Filip and I, admittedly, we've had a chaotic year. We've done a lot of stuff. Hell, we've wasted a lot of time and energy and effort and money, which, again, that's part of the lesson of learning the hard way. But reality is, it is what it is. Neither one of us died from it. And,
thank God.
AEP's the same way.
We were in Vegas together and we survived.
Yeah, we did. we had a good time in Vegas. We had a great
time in Vegas. It was chill. It was low key as shit, dude.
Yeah, it was exactly.
Learned a bunch of shit. I was exhausted at the end of those days, dude. I was fucking working, dude.
It's a lot of moving parts. So yeah, AEP. I would start the carrier reps. I would start with creating. Well, I would start honestly with creating your story. And what is your origin story? What brought you to where you are? Why are you doing what you want to do? What's your mission and goal here? What's the end result you're trying to accomplish, so that you can put together like some kind of mission statement, in essence, that's, again, someone can feel sorry for at the beginning. And if you're new, that's the leverage point. If you're old, that's the leverage point. Like if this is your 20th AEP, that's also the leverage point. Like, look, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm out of time now. I'm trying to help my son grow a new book of business, or whatever that new, again, that's, I don't know what your story is, but put together the pieces of what the story are, and then create the moments of feeling sorry for you and then getting behind you. And those 3 key ingredients, and then showing up, saying yes to everything. Again, the more you say no, the easier it gets. the more you say no to somebody who's asking you to help them, the less they ask. I don't care what it is. But by the other token, just like if the person that asks to borrow money, you always borrow them money, guess who they're always going to ask?
Exactly.
If the reward happens and the payoff is there, then it's going to be a repeated action. That's really what this is all about, is what kind of stuff can you do that's duplicatable, repeatable, etc. Well, how can you use OPM, OPI, OPE? Other people's money, other people's ideas, other people's efforts. How do I deploy all of that? And all the stuff that Filip and I have been talking about on today's episode has been keyed in on those components.
I'll give another one too, really quick. Medicare Agents Hub. That's actually not a bad one. I know that's associated with thou, who we shall not name. But I know that's associated with him, but it doesn't matter. I've probably gotten, 15 or 16 sales off that in the last year. And it's just like, it's surprise money, by the way. It's like, oh, hey, cool. Where did you find me? And they're like, oh, Medicare Agents Hub. And then you get the thing for Medicare Agents Hub and shit. I'm like, this is great. I think I paid like $300 for a lifetime like membership or something like that. And I'm like, let's go. Do you know what another great thing is? If you go to my website, it says that I'm Medicare verified as a master. And you get that moniker from Medicare Agents Hub. And Medicare Agents Hub does a hell of a job of SEO. So when you have Medicare Agents Hub, it'll show up when people Google you, it'll show up that you're actually a highly recommended national broker, which gives you a lot of clout, right? Especially if you're not an agency owner, because you can't do a Google My Business because you have no business. So you can't do a GMB, right? You can't do it. You have no fucking business. So what else can you do? Medicare Agent Hub, Better Business Bureau, which you can't do unless you do, you do an LLC, but you can do BNI, you can do chamber, right? You just be an individual. So I think there's a lot of things that you can do on that end that are kind of like passive and a little bit less expensive that you can kind of get in to get some recognition beyond just doing what you're doing with broker managers or doctor partners. Obviously, you got to go after those things. But I think, Josh, something else that we have to talk about is you have to analyze budget, right? Because like, okay, so you're a new broker coming in, you got your story, you got all the stuff locked down, you met with these broker managers, you did all the stuff. So now you're looking at all the assets that can be given to you, other people's money, OPM, right? Other people's money, OPM. OPI, other people's ideas, usually mean co-op, meaning you're paying a little bit, they're paying a little bit. You're paying a little bit, they're paying a little bit. What can you pay? What can you bring to the table? If it's nothing, well, you're going to have some trouble there. You got to revert back to doing anything and everything because your only currency is time
and effort.
That's your currency. That's it.
Attitude, energy, effort,
time and money.
Yeah.
That's it. We're making money so we can buy more time. And we're using our time to earn money. So it is quite the crux. Yes? Quite the conundrum that we've got going on here until you get to a break-even point where you're like, holy shit, I got enough money and I got this much time. I can start doing this. Use money, buy back my time. Use money, buy back my time. Use money, buy back my time. Next thing you know, if you wanted to, and depending on how you are, now me and Josh are not like that because we're like foot to the pedal GT3 Porsches all day long, that we don't have a stopping point. But some people, they're just like, dude, I just want to have 1,000 apps and be done, right? You work that, and now it's like, oh, well, now I have enough money because I have 1,000 apps, so I'm making $30K a month, right? I can then take that money, maybe invest $5K and hire an amazing team that is going to nurture my business to make sure that I have enough new business coming in to make sure that I'm not losing from that 1,000. And I'm only working a 4-hour, 5-hour work week now, right? If you're working a 4 or 5-hour work week, what does that mean for your family? What does that mean for everything else? Because just because you're working a 4 or 5-hour work week and you got 1,000 people, could you one day wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to turn that up to 20. Let me go back to 20 hours a week. I kind of want to get to 2,000 clients, right? 1,500 clients, 3,000 clients, or whatever it is. Or maybe now I want to build a team. So now I'm going to trade that time for something else. So it's so important that you guys understand what your budget is, because that will let you know realistically what you can do, okay? Think of it like 3 Venn diagrams, right? If I could just write this out really quick, right? You got 3 Venn diagrams here, or just 1 Venn diagram. We don't need 3, right? Pulling out the mini. Best thing I ever got from Cody Askins was this. One of the best things I ever saw him do was get one of these little baby whiteboards, right? So you got these circles, right? Circles of influence. My pen is dying, so you're not gonna be able. This pen is dead already. Anyways, think about this: 3 circles. First circle is what your wants and your needs are. What are your wants and needs? What do you want? What do you need? Your why? All that story. The second circle, right, is expectation. What's your expectation of how to get it? How hard are you going to work? How much money do you have to spend? This and that. That's the expectation. And the third one is reality. What is the reality? Can you afford it? Can you not afford it? Typically in the middle of where all of that interjects is your sweet spot. Okay? Is your sweet spot. You need to hedge your wants and needs to the expectations that live in your reality, right? Your wants and needs can't be like, hey, you know what? I want to live in Dubai in a $40 million home and drive a Bugatti in a month. That's not realistic. It's just not. I'm sorry. It ain't fucking not. Listen, how would you make, just let's do the numbers. You're a number guy. How would I make $40 million in 1 year in Medicare? How? How? Impossible. Yeah. It's not possible. As an individual, it's not possible. So can we see that's not realistic? That means your expectations, your wants and needs are way off. Way off. So they're way out here, way out here. You need to hone them in. The reality is it's your first year. How much time do you have? That's another one. Because for me, early in my career, you know what my problem was, Josh, early in my career? I didn't involve my wife enough in what my business was. So she didn't understand why I was working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 53 days. And it would annoy her and bother her. But she didn't understand because I didn't do a good job of letting my wife know what's going on. The number one thing I do now with my brokers, if they're married and they have kids, is I say, you need to have a sit-down conversation with your wife way before AEP and let them know, do not schedule anything. Don't schedule Halloween unless it's nighttime. I don't want to do family dinners. I don't want to do anything. I need help. AEP, my wife is a fucking rock star, dude. And AEP, my wife does all the drop off, does almost everything so I can stay glued to the money and impact my clients and help my people because my wife knows how important that is to me, not the money, right? The impact, that making sure my clients are taken care of. She knows how important that is for me to feel good about what I do because I'm very much driven by impact and purpose being a Marine, right? I don't know why my screen keeps going down, man. I don't know what's going on. It's like, Filip, you got to shut up. But yeah, that's my point is kind of, you got to kind of figure that stuff out, guys, where you start to say, okay, what team is behind me? If you have a family, they better be behind you. Otherwise, you are not going to have a successful AEP. You're going to have somebody that's like, hey, let's go have dinner. Let's go out for drinks. Let's go on this vacation. Bill and Tina are having a dinner party, and we're going at this time or that time. Oh, hey, we're going to the movies this day, and hey, this and this and that. You're like, dude, come on. I explained this to you, right? You got to make sure that your home team is on your side, right? It's so important because if you don't have that at home, then who is going to support you, right? Emotionally, when you're going through it, if you have a good day, a bad day, whatever, who do you share that information? How do you keep the momentum? So if you have a family, you got to involve them in what you're doing. Let them know what your schedule looks like. Let them know. My assistant sends my schedule to my wife every single week for the week next. And then my assistant says, Stephanie, what do you need me to move around to accommodate you? Because now I'm at a point in my career, well, guess what happened? My wife is more important than the work because I'm able to do that. I'm able to trade time or trade money for time.
Yep.
So because I want to spend more time with my family, now my wife takes precedence. So my wife now controls a portion of my wife and my assistant. My wife get on from the sense that, nope, I need Filip to do X, Y, and Z for me. I need to do this and that for me. I need it on this day and that day. My assistant's like, great, I'll move this, I'll move that. She'll call clients and say, I need to move you here, I need to move you there. No problem, right? And I don't touch it at all, guys. But now I got my wife, how much more is she on my team? Holy shit. Big time on my team, right?
Exponentially, I think.
Exponentially, because I made her a fucking priority. But it wasn't like that for the first couple of years. But that's how you sell it. You got to make the money so you can buy back the time so you can be the father, the husband, the wife, the provider that you want to be, right? It ain't about the money, but the money helps you buy the resources that allow you to get your time back so you can live the way you were designed, which is perfect. Yes? We're all built, we're perfectly imperfect. Yes? But God has a plan for all of us to do better than what we think we are, because that's man's plan. God's plan is significantly grander than what your plan is, without a doubt. BHAGs are important too, big, hairy, audacious goals. So like Josh is the king of this shit, right? Josh will ask me, Filip, what's your goal for AEP? I'll say 400, and he'll just say, yeah, okay, so 800, and I'll be like, no, 400. He's like, yeah, I heard you, 800, yeah, and he just doubles your goal, no matter what you say. You can say 1,000. This motherfucker without blinking will be like, okay, 2,000, like with no hesitation. Okay, 2,000. So you want to do 2,000? That's great. Let's do it. I love it. I'll celebrate that with you. Believe you me. I'll fly you up to Colorado. We'll go to Aspen. We'll ski it out. You do 2,000. Trust me, it's gonna be awesome. I'll buy you.
We will. Yeah.
Without a doubt, right? You know what I mean? Shit, if I did 2,000 in AP, that'd be fucking great. Now I'm kind of thinking that should be my goal. But I don't want to say 2,000. You're gonna say 4,000. My point is, like, if you surround yourself with the right people, right? I left a situation to better my situation, and it wasn't for money reasons. It was because I wanted to be aligned with somebody that was forward thinking, and I wanted to be aligned with somebody that was starting something. I didn't want to join somebody that already had 400 or 500 agents and agencies and was already preset in their ways. So I was just jumping in to be part of the grind. Like, no thanks. That's okay. So when I found an outlier like Josh, and by the way, when me and Josh started this relationship, it was not like I walked up to him and said, hey man, I produce this much. You should want to recruit me. Let's do this. And Josh wasn't like, hey dude, I write this much. You should work for me because I can double your numbers. It wasn't even like that. It was like, hey man, how can I help you? No, hey man, how can I help you? And him and I helped each other for about a year before we even said, hey, I'm just curious. Would you want to start like a marketing business with me? And guys, can I tell you, we didn't even talk about contracts. I didn't even talk about aligning with him when we first decided to start this coaching program. I just believed in his impact and his mission so much and aligned with me so much that I felt this guy's my brother, man. Like, this is a kindred spirit. God put this man in my life to create my mission of impact to be a bigger reality and to grow it exponentially, right? So it's not always about like money. The opportunity is much richer. Look for the opportunities, guys. Don't look for the money. Look for the opportunity that will allow you to grow, not just today, but next year and the year after. So that shitty event that you did in some podunk county that nobody's in, but that insurance company is expanding in that county, yeah, year one's rough. But year two, year three, they're going to go back and say, who is our founding members? Who are our foundation brokers that built this county? And if it's you, doesn't matter how young, how new, how old, how whatever. If it's you, you're getting fed. You're getting fucking fed. And if you stay consistent and frequent with what you do and how you do it, that will say everything that they need to know to continuously give you opportunities and give you reps to get you where you need to be. But you need to be accountable for your results. Accountable for your results. I'm not getting anything for work managers. How many times did you reach out to them? Well, once. That's not enough. Reach out to a client once and then give up? No. You're effectively trying to get something from somebody.
Yeah.
The word, you know? So I love this so far. So we've got a basic idea of understanding our story, understanding our goals, understanding our purpose, understanding our why, identifying the broker managers that we want to work with, identifying where the opportunities are, meaning areas of expansion, right? Everybody's expanding or contracting, and where one person is contracting, what's the other person doing, Josh?
Well, they're expanding usually. Either growing or dying. There is no middle. It's
an ebb and flow. Aetna and United drop a bunch of plans. Humana creates a plan, sucks up all the business.
Or
Humana makes everything non-commissionable.
Or whatever.
Devoted comes back, makes their plans stronger. Everybody flows to Devoted. Aetna makes all their plans non-commissionable, floats all that to United, right? Or your local carriers bump up, okay? Or maybe Cigna comes out with a high deductible plan G that's only $40 a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always this opportunity. I used to tell people all the time, when there is chaos and disruption, there's so much opportunity.
Opportunity, yeah.
We benefit from every storm and every nightmare that happens in this industry. And I love Jocko when he says that. Have you ever seen Jocko's video? Good. When he's like, good. Yep. I love that video. I saw that video like 10 years ago. As my mentor Tim showed it to me all the time. He's like, do you think you have a bad day? Good. And I'm like, damn, that is so true, man. Good. I'm making it through the reps. I failed. If I fail, I'm closer to a win. I fail, I'm that much closer to win. I fail, I'm that much closer to win. I feel the pressure and the anxiety. I called you the other day, right? And I was struggling.
Yeah.
I was struggling a little bit. Just had a kid, felt the anxiety, felt the pressure. And I was able to talk to Josh and get off my shoulders and be like, okay, fuck, now that I said it, I'm really not in a bad place. I'm just analytical like that, guys. I'm used to being so on it. So having a baby in freaking July was a hell of a turn for me. Plus, I'm thinking like, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, but the baby went breech. Then my wife had a C-section. It completely changed the recovery, doubled the recovery. Now I'm like, I can't get back to work till September. How am I going to blah, blah, blah? Figure it out, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. Keep moving. Don't make excuses. What am I going to do? Sit on my ass and cry? Complain? Hope that God's going to come into my life and say, hey, listen, I'll just open the doors for you, do all the work for you, Filip. No, he already opened the doors. He already gave me everything I need. He's asking for more of me, and he's asking for more of you. Whatever you believe in. You believe in the wind, you believe in God, you believe in whatever you believe in, right? Moses, whatever you believe in, right? If you believe in ball, get off this.
Yeah.
No Illuminati's here, brother. But yeah, so I think, guys, if you can just keep it simple and granular like that, it's not complicated, but start. How hard is it if I created a massive action plan to say, I'm going to send an email to my broker rep? Could that be a massive action that you could do within 5 minutes?
Yep.
And if you have a system, this is the other thing. If you have an upline and they have a system and you're not plugged into the system, shame on you. There again, they've given you everything you need to be successful and you're not using it. So what are your resources that you're using or not using? And Josh knows this, I know this. You can have a perfect system and only 10% of your brokers use it for some odd reason. And whose fault is that really? It's really me and Josh's fault. Because maybe we're not doing a good enough job of why this is absolutely important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why have we pretty much eliminated cigarette smoking in youth today? Truth.com. Because of Truth.com.
Yeah.
Truth.com was so annoying in the early 2000s up to like 2018. I remember going to like Vans Warped Tour and Truth.com was like in your face, like, why are you smoking? That's disgusting and this and that shit. And you're like, oh my God, no one smokes cigarettes anymore, right? It's so rare that you find kids smoking cigarettes. They're vaping now, but they're not smoking anymore. That was completely demolished. Why? Because people marketed it. They talked about it, right? It's the same thing with anything, guys, right? You have tools, use them. Because if you can write an email one time, you could automate it and say, if they don't answer, I'm going to send it to them every 48 hours until they do. That's it. And maybe you'd have fun with it. Say, hey, just curious. I mean, do I need to put out a bolo? Did you get captured by aliens? Like what happened?
Search party. Yep.
You know? Well, fuck. If your broker manager is upset with you because you reach out too much to them, fucking find a different broker manager, guys. Or just realize this, the reality is your broker manager ain't going to help you.
Yeah, well, and just wait a little bit. That broker manager is probably not going to succeed, and there'll be a new one before you know it.
A new one anyways. Exactly. I know, dude. What the f is going on?
Don't worry. We're good.
She's worn out.
Your computer knows it's time to sign off. So, yeah, man, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We're going to try to keep it short and sweeter as far as the focus of what we're trying to accomplish. So, again, step 1, you create your goal. Step 2, reverse engineer what you need to achieve. Step 3, compile all your assets. Step 4, create your story. Step 5, get that story out to as many people as you can who have influence or opportunity that you could take advantage of. Because you could take that same story after you go to all your broker reps and take it to your local church, take it to your local doctor's office, take that same story over to the financial planner, take that same story over to the food bank, take that same story over to the breakfast place, take that same story over every person you can, no matter where you are, anytime you're pumping gas, look over the other person and go, oh my gosh, how are you today? And they say, I'm good, how are you? And then you go, man, I'm in the middle of this. Give them your story. That's it. You just never know. The next person you tell your story to might be the person that unlocks 10, 20, 30, 40 opportunities for you to help. And in that process, it also helps you. You're helping people. They're helping you get to your goal. And then they get the dopamine hit. Go back and tell them after you help people that you get referrals for, making an effort to go back and tell the people, thank you, and tell them what happened. I was able to do this. I was able to do that. So they get the little piece of the impact too. They get some of that back end reward.
Yeah. And I can tell you, my system has helped me sell more opportunities than anything. Because I'll have a Zoom meeting with broker manager, and I'll say, let me show you. And they'll be like, what do you mean? I'll just show you my numbers. And I pull up my system, like, holy shit. And they see everything tracked, everything dispositioned, everything there, every opportunity, every dollar amount. And they're like, holy shit, this is what I want. Because most broker managers have to do that themselves. And when I can send it to them, same with doctor partners. Why do doctor partners do Medicare seminars with me? Because I document everything. I get everybody's information, a PTC on everybody, a BRC on everybody, and I document every KPI. I know everybody that showed up, everybody that RSVP'd, everything, every mailer that went out, all the people that RSVP'd that didn't show up, we're already touching them, all those things. And we're constantly follow up. Our follow-up sequences are ridiculous, but we do a lot of patients and a lot of sales, right? And when they see that, and not only can I say it, then I can track it and show them. I say, listen, this is how long it took. They're like, holy shit. Now, listen, companies love this. How much did I spend? What did we make? How long did it take? And if you're just trying to memorize that shit, dude, if you're doing that on paper, the system just do it for you. So use your systems, guys, and use that as saying, hey, this is how I'm going to track everything that I do. This is how I'm different than everybody else you knew, because I'm going to track it like this, and I'm going to send you a report every day. This is what I'm going to do for you. This is how I can make your job easier. Now you're doing something for the broker manager. Understand what your broker manager's pain points are, and you know what it is? Reporting. Fucking reporting is your broker manager's number one pain in the ass. Reporting and disposition. Hey, I gave you this opportunity. What happened with it? I give you these marketing dollars. What happened with it? Because if they're just looking for bottom line sales, what if that person isn't eligible for 2 months? Or what if that, whatever the circumstance is, right? Because you could meet 100 people and maybe not sell them till 3 months out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're showing your work, if you're showing what's going on, that broker manager is going to be like, this guy's tight. He knows his stuff. He's staying on top of it. I trust this. I will reinvest in this guy because guess what? He's got a strategy. He's got systems. He's got a plan. And he's got solutions. It's powerful. It's powerful.
Worth investing in. Yep.
That's it. Absolutely. 100%. Think about what you would do, right? Like if I went to McDonald's and they bust me out with some crazy strategy plan, I'd be like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. And that's what I mean. Like, you got to do something that stands out. I wear loud suits. Josh wears loud suits. I'm fucking loud too, guys. I talk loud, and that's why people don't like me sometimes. Because I'm very loud, and I command the attention in a room, not because I want to. It's just I just do, right? I'm just loud and I'm very energetic and stuff like that. And I raise the energy in a room, right? Like it's the funny. Josh, it's so funny. We did a visitors day at BNI, and we had a bunch of visitors come in, and three of the visitors that were there were from other BNI chapters, and they're like, dude, your energy is insane. Can you be a visitor at my BNI chapter to help us get the energy up? And I was like, do you guys have a health insurance broker there? And they're like, no. And I'm like, yep, I'll be there next Tuesday. What's up? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like, I want to refer business to this guy. Fuck yeah. This guy's a good time. Shit. And then if they say, well, let me Google this guy, see if he's legit. Well, then you see, I wrote 3 books. I've got podcasts. I've been on TV. I've been on ABC. I've been on NBC. I've been in Forbes. I've been in all this shit, right? And they're like, oh my God, this guy's been all over the place, right? Interviews, travels, the speaking engagements, all this bullshit, right? Got some trophies, whatever. Not as many as you, Josh, but I got a couple, you know what I'm saying? But that's the point is you build that over time, but you got to be able to sell your skills, guys, even if it doesn't exist yet. Sell what it is that you want to be, but show them that you've got the tools and resources to make it a reality, right? Hey, I'm gonna build you this sculpture. Well, show me the granite, show me the tools, show me the plan, show me what you're gonna make. Help me visualize what you're doing. Just like you said in the beginning, to tie it all back to the beginning, where Josh said, I need to visualize the plan, throwing the dart at the dartboard. I need to visualize the target. Help your broker manager visualize the target and visualize what it is that you're going to do for them. And if you have the tools, show them. Absolutely. Or be brazen. Say, hey, meet me at this place. This is a venue I think would be really cool. Would you be willing to meet me here? Something. I got a great idea. Something. Even if your idea is shit. Something to cause the intrigue. Guys, you got to sell yourself. You got to build your brand, right? I think that's a big thing. I think actually brand should be something we talk about completely in just one segment, right? Like, what does that look like, brand? And then I would say like another thing, Josh, maybe in the future that we could talk about, just really quick, is what are some of the best practices to stay razor sharp during AEP? Because for some people, they're just like, oh, I'm just going to work. But for me, I've always found that I do better when I have a very strict, ridiculous routine, right? And usually during AEP, my routine is 4:15 wake up, about a 30 to 45 minute bike ride at zone 2. So I don't go above 130 beats per minute on the heart. And then I do about 12, 13 minutes red light sauna in the house, right? And I do that. And then I eat food and I'm working. And then I don't lift weights until between 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when I'll go lift weights because that's when I start to fall down. That's when my energy starts to dip. So then I take that, I go to the gym, I work out, boost my energy back up. And now for the next 2-3 hours, I'm hype. And then guess what happens after those 3 hours? The dopamine and adrenaline drops so hard that I pass out like a fucking baby, like a baby. And then I wake up at 4:15 the next day, guess what? Feeling amazing. And guess what I do? I pray. I listen to certain frequencies. So at night, 777 is a great frequency to sleep. 437 frequency is a great frequency for abundance and actually clearing cortisol out of your body. YouTube, put on some headphones, 10 minutes, meditate, pray, red light therapy, working out, eating right, you are going to be a fucking machine. During AEP last year, I wrote 320 apps, right? 320 apps. I did 18 appointments a day, every single day for 52 days, because I didn't work Thanksgiving, right? So every single day. And there was a couple of weekends that I took off, like a couple Sundays where I only worked like a half a day. But essentially 18 appointments a day to get to that point, right? That's kind of what I'm saying, guys. Like, you have to be able to fill your calendar, right? But you also have to be able to fill your cup. Because otherwise, we talked about this yesterday, you're going to pull your head up 10 days left in AEP and be like, fuck, I can't make it.
Yeah.
But what if that's where you get your 30, 40% bump on?
No, you do. You'll do a third. I do a third of my apps every year in those last 10 days. And so
that's what I mean. And most people, including myself, you just actually stop. The last week, you're like, I don't want to deal with anybody December 1st to December 7th. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? These last minute people, but now I don't care. I'm like, I don't give a shit what their reasoning is. Some people procrastinate. Who am I to judge? I'm here to serve you, man. Like, I don't give a fuck when you buy the product or what product you buy. As long as you're happy and you're getting value and you're smiling and I'm able to take care of you, we're good. Expectation met, need met, and we live and breathe the reality. Boom, got you a perfect plan to start with. And if we need to adjust, we'll adjust. And I'm going to stay in touch with you all year long to pump for referrals, to try to cross-sell, and also to build a relationship with you so you never leave me. And I'm going to sell you my story, and I'm going to sell you my passion and everything that's about me. I'm going to send you pictures of my kids. I'm going to send you all kinds of stuff about what's going on with my family. I'm going to make sure that you're involved in my Instagram and my Facebook and my LinkedIn, and you're getting videos from me. And I'm going to make sure I invite you to all this shit, and it's going to be great. That's what we do. It's that simple. Sounds hard, but it's not, especially if you build those strategies. So I think like those would be two great topics we could talk about, is maybe some habits that you do, because I know this year you had some great habits, man. Like, you lost a ton of weight, right? Best shape of your life.
You know, I'm getting back. I got to get back. I've been stuck in this.
I need to crack that. That's on me too.
So,
well, I promise you I'd be an accountability buddy for you, and I've been doing great.
We both have failed. So yeah, strap in. I'm gonna do it again.
Get it, dude. I'm there, brother. You know what I'm saying? Six packed out right now. You know what I mean? Like, let's roll. Let's start doing these podcasts with our shirts off. You know, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's a whole different topic for a different time, for sure.
You get like an LPOM like chest tattue, and then I'll get like a summer rocker that says ProCare.
And I'm gonna need a release from both our spouses.
We're all shirtless on a podcast. That's how we start our OnlyFans, right? Our Only Medicare. I love it, man. No, but I think this is important to talk to those new guys that are coming out, to say, like, if I could learn like the secret sauce from these vets, like, what is it? No gatekeeping, nothing like that. And sometimes people are like, oh, there's got to be some kind of magic secret that these guys are doing to make them so successful. Yeah, there is. It's called timing and time in. It's all about your timing and your time in. You control the timing.
Mm-hmm.
The time in, you don't control. That's just being in the job, doing the experience, going through the things. But the timing changes, because your timing could be like, hey, it takes 3 years for me to get the opportunity. That's your timing is off, because you could do it in 6 months, but you got to time it properly with who you're getting in front of and how you're selling them. And what's the opportunity? AEP is great timing, by the way. Right now is the best timing. Actually, 2 months ago was the best timing to get in front of all your broker managers and start that conversation, plant those seeds, right? That's it. And if you're ballsy like me, what you do is say, hey, I don't even want you to fund me for AEP. I want you to fund me for lockout season, where nobody's selling. And I'm going to sell more than anybody else during lockout. And I'm going to show you what I can do in the worst time of year to sell. And that's what I do now. And now these guys are like, this guy's got 70 people showing up to a seminar in the middle of lockout, and 60% of them are actually T65. And he's closing like 50, 60% of those. It's like, yeah, dude. No brainer. So when AEP rolls around, they're like, yeah. That guy. Got systems. That guy's got KPIs. This guy's showing us numbers. He's showing us results in a time that no one shows us results. So they're like, holy shit. You know what I mean? And a doctor partner, they couldn't believe it. They did 5 new patients in one seminar. They're like, how'd you do it? And I said, well, you saw me how I did it. I just asked them, how many of you see your doctor monthly? Nobody raised their hand, right? I said, how many can you see? How many can you see your doctor monthly? Nobody raised their hand. I said, how many of you see your doctor for 20 minutes at a time? Nobody raised their hand. I said, how many of you see nurse practitioners? 50, 60% raised their hand. I said, great. How many of you think you have an amazing relationship with your doctor? Okay. About 40% raised their hand. I said, the ones that didn't do it, you need a primary care. And let's talk about what primary care looks like. And I sold the office, right? And they were just like, oh, yeah, let's go there. And I was like, boom, it's done. Easy, right? You better learn how to sell for other people before you sell for yourself. You don't win unless someone else wins, guys. Take that mentality, Stephen Covey, right? Win, win, win situations. Let other people win. Let your client win. Let your partners win. And then you can win. I'm more concerned when I work with a doctor partner is let me create a new patient first. And once I create a new patient, it's easier and less friction for me to get the insurance on the back end.
Right.
I'm going to solve for a problem that's very low hanging. That say, hey, listen, you don't have to make any major changes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put you in a better situation where you get better service, and it doesn't cost you a penny. It doesn't change anything. You have no disruption in your life. This is what I'm going to do for you 100% for free. And I'll look at your insurance as well, just as a bonus. And then you're going to find problems in there, or maybe you don't. But what are the odds of you getting referrals from that person because you solved the problem and you didn't force them into insurance? Are they going to remember you?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to say, you got to call Filip, he's amazing. He did all this shit for me. Are you a client of his? No, because I was on the best insurance. He let me know. That goes a long way, guys. Honesty, integrity goes a long way. It's a real long way. You like what? That's all it is. Don't follow these guys that are scumbags. They're like, all you got to do is, rip and grip the leads, bro. Buy my lead system and just hunker down on the phones, buy these leads for $30. I love the $30 Medicare sale, $30 Medicare sale, $30 Medicare sale. No, it doesn't work like that, right? It's $30, $300, maybe a Medicare sale.
Right.
So you got to be careful of what you get into, guys. You got to rely on yourself and your own intuition, but you build that with partners, broker managers, doctor partners, and you serve them first. Find out what they need and serve them. Don't be selfish. Don't be greedy in the business. Promise you. Rule of sales.
Yep.
Focus on the helping. Focus on the impact. The money will be there no matter what. How many people do you want to serve? Now, how many people do you want to sell? Who do you want to serve? Who do you want to impact? That makes so much more sense, in my opinion. Right?
Yep. I'm in.
I love it. I'm in too, man.
Yeah, bro. With that, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and we'll dive in the next phase of how to crush AEP. We got 6 weeks left until pre-AEP starts. 8 weeks in essence until AEP starts.
Yep.
And game time's here. So have a wonderful, blessed week.
Yes. God bless everybody. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.